Toby Harris, creative lead at Saffron Interactive, recently joined me in the studio to talk about a knowledge platform developed by the company for Ava. This platform enables practitioners working with children and young people to identify, challenge and respond to violence against women and girls. Toby, welcome.
Hi.
You and Saffron Interactive recently won a Learning and Development Award. Can you tell us a little bit about it and what it was for?
Yeah, sure. So at the 2015 Learning Awards, Saffron Interactive and our client Ava, that's Against Violence and Abuse, won silver in the category of External Learning Solution of the Year for the digital prevention platform. Now, the platform is basically, it's a kind of digital culmination of a huge amount of work that Ava had been doing around implementing or encouraging schools and local authorities to implement what's called a whole school approach to tackling and preventing violence against women and girls. So that's domestic violence, sexual abuse, and so on. And they came to us to help them kind of basically create the digital learning experience, which consisted of the e-learning experience, which was a 20-minute kind of piece, and a wider kind of knowledge hub, which would basically allow them to support these blended programs and kind of really scale up the work they were doing.
Tell me a little bit about what that award means to Saffron and Ava and your customers, and what the impact that award might have for you guys.
Well, I think that in terms of the impact the award has on us, I mean, Saffron obviously has a long history of winning awards, every year for various different projects that we undertake. And I think that in particular, this one really stood out to me as an award which would do so much good in terms of actually recognising two things, really. Firstly, recognising the amazing and important work that Ava do. So in terms of a background to this project, there is no formal training in the PGCE for teachers on how to deal with the disclosure of abuse from a pupil, and as a result, the vast majority of pupils, when kind of disclosing an issue at home or in the classroom, actually really don't get anywhere with teachers because they're not trained to deal with it. So this project fills a huge gap in that space. It's a kind of project where e-learning is really important because it's hard to actually, teachers are some of the hardest people to get to learn and get to train because they don't have much time. And so by putting the content into a kind of 30-minute e-learning experience that was experiential, that was scenario-based, that really focused on how do you do this in practice, not what the theory is, how do you do safeguarding really, obviously had this huge kind of, benefit to doing that. And the wider platform itself is the first database of approved materials and toolkits. So before, if you type in something like domestic violence or female genital mutilation into Google, you'll find all kinds of stuff and hardly any of it is kind of approved. And so in terms of knowledge management, by taking all of this stuff and putting it in one easy to navigate place, that's an achievement in itself, that the project filled that gap. And so I think in terms of the impact that this could have and what it's achieved, for example, we've seen 300% increases in disclosures at schools where it's been rolled out. We've seen local authorities adopt the platform, push it out to all of their schools as a centerpiece of campaigns around this. We've seen it enter into national guidelines, that go out from the Department of Education, Department of Health, which is a huge victory as well. And even in terms of the educational attainment of kids at those schools, it's not really that surprising that if you reduce sexual bullying and violence and you make the classroom a safer environment, then kids actually do better. So in terms of the impact, I think we're just really pleased that the judges recognised, that big impact. And in terms of how we achieved that, I think what they really liked and what we're really proud of is the way that we adopted some of those aspects of viral communication and digital consumption of content, which are really starting to change. So this is very much a kind of viral learning campaign. All it takes is for one teacher to take the course and apply part of it, and then for another school to adopt it. And really the digital element allows, it to be kind of almost like a kind of mushroom effect appearing in all these different places. So yeah, I think it's a really innovative project, and we're really pleased to be recognised.
Fantastic, that's such a great story, really nice to hear. My final question for you is, there's lots of changes in the learning and development world at the moment. Can you think of one in particular that is really influencing the work that Saffron Interactive does?
I think the biggest change is really linked to a culmination of this process that's really been going on for some years now, but it's this huge entrance of digital communication tools, of Facebook, of LinkedIn, into the way we interact with the world around us. And I think the biggest change that we are dealing with and focusing on is the fact that now the experiences you give to learners have to correspond to those personalised, reactive platforms they use every day. And I think really the L&D sector and the e-learning industry is still so far behind what the consumer technology people have done, and are continuing to build on. And that's our biggest focus, that's our biggest influence at the moment.
Excellent, it's a real challenge. Well, thank you very much, Toby. It's been really great to hear your insights.